David Smith here with a flipped classroom math video lesson. 3 tips before we start. First, remember you can slow down or speed up the video if that helps. Second, you can pause the video at any point to catch up with notes or jot down questions. Third, you can turn on the captions so you can read my words on the screen. Today's topic, the distance formula. This is one of those big formulas that gets used in a lot of places in mathematics, certainly in your high school math career. So let's do a little definition of it, and then we're just going to do a bunch of examples to see how it all works. So, for any 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, so all we've done here is we've split up the x and y's to indicate that this is point 1, x coordinate 1, y coordinate 1, and this is point 2, x coordinate 2, y coordinate 2. So, for any 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, the distance between them is given by, big D for distance, it's given by the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay? So as you might guess, a lot of these problems involve plug and chug. I'm going to give you 2 coordinate points. You're going to plug the numbers in here, and then you're going to chug away till you get a result, one answer, which is your distance. Okay, one problem you might get would look like this. Find the distance between the point 26 and the point 38. So before you do your plug-in step, there's a really useful little step that helps you stay organized. Let's go x1, y1, x2, y2. That way there's no confusion about which number goes where in our handy-dandy distance formula. Okay? So let's do the plug-in step. D equals square root, make that line nice and long, you're going to need some room, x2, 3, minus x1, which is 2, close parentheses, squared, plus, now we're at y2, that's 8, minus y1, which is 6, squared, close parentheses. So that's my plug-in step. Now let's chug our way through this. D equals 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 squared is still 1. So we have 1 for that chunk. Now 8 minus 6 is 2. Squared is 4. So we have 1 plus 4. So the distance in this case is the square root of 5. Now you could put this in a calculator and get the decimal equivalent, but for me, root 5 is good enough. Okay, let's do another one. If you'd like, you can pause the video right now and find the distance between these 2 points. Okay, first step. x1, y1, x2, y2. So now I know which points are which. Do my plug-in step. D equals square root of x2, 5 minus x1, which is 3, squared, plus y2, which is 3, minus negative 1 squared. Okay, so there's my plug-in step. Now let's chug our way through to the answer. D equals, big square root sign. 5 minus 3 is 2. Squared makes 4. 4. 3 minus negative 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. Squared is 16. Guess I didn't need the big old root sign after all. So this is root 20. Now, unlike root 5 in the last problem, root 20 can be factored into perfect squares, or at least one perfect square. Because watch this. Root 20 is the same as 4 times 5. Now the 4 comes out as its square root, and that's going to give us 2, which is the square root of 4, root 5. So that's the fully simplified answer for that problem. Okay, one of the types of exercises you're going to get is going to ask you to classify triangles, and we're going to use a distance formula to do that. And you'll see in just a minute how that'll work. But first, let's talk about 4 different types of triangles. I'm assuming this is prior knowledge, but it helps to rekindle that sometimes. Okay? So 3 or 4 types of triangles. Scalene. think, do you remember what a scalene triangle is? It's a triangle that has different length sides. So no sides are equal. No sides equal. Isosceles has two sides equal. Equilateral, you can probably figure out from the word, equi is equal, lateral is basically side. This is all sides equal. And we know on a triangle that's three sides are equal. A right triangle, this is a little different than these three. A right triangle has one 90-degree angle. And so, because it's a right triangle, we know this also. And you saw this in an earlier video. C is the hypotenuse, it's opposite of the 90-degree angle. We know that the Pythagorean Theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, is true. Okay, so you're going to need to use this in one or two of the problems. Okay, so 4 types of triangles we're being asked to identify. Okay, so now let's use the distance formula to figure out one of these triangles. A triangle has vertices, which is just another word for corners. Triangles have 3 corners, right, where 2 sides meet. A, which is 1, 2, B, which is 3, 5, and C, which is 0, 3. What type of triangle is this? So what we're going to have to do is figure out the length of side AB, then side BC, then the last side, which should be side AC, and compare those lengths, and then we'll be able to answer that question. Okay? So if you want to pause the video right now and see if you can do that, awesome. I'm just going to go ahead and do some plugging and some chugging. So AB. So I'm going to write it like this. Distance of AB equals, now I'm doing these two. So x2 is 3 minus x1 is 1, plus y2, which is 5 minus 2 for y1 squared. So that's my plug-in step for AB. Let's finish this out. 3 minus 1 is 2, squared is 4. 5 minus 2 is 3, squared is 9. So AB equals root 13. So if you didn't pause the video before, pause it now and figure out what BC and AC are. Okay, let's do that. So there's our one side. AB is root 13. Now let's do BC. So BC is going to be this x2 minus x1. So that's 0 minus 3 squared. And this y2 minus that y1 plus 3 minus 5 squared. So BC, 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Squared makes 9. This is 9. And 3 minus 5 is 2. Squared makes 4. So that's plus 4. So BC also equals root 13. So now we know at least 2 sides are equal. So this could be an equilateral triangle or it could be an isosceles triangle. We don't know yet. It's got at least 2 equal sides. So let's do our last one. That would be side AC. So AC is going to equal, so let's do this one as the 2. So x2, 1 minus 0 squared, make that longer, 1 minus 0 squared plus 2 minus 3. Okay, so now let's chug through that calculation. AC, so 1 minus 0 is still just 1. 1 squared is 1. So this is going to be 1 plus 2 minus 3 is negative 1 squared is still 1. So this side is the square root of 2. So I have 2 equal sides and 1 side that's different. So think back to the types of triangles. Do you remember what that is? It's called isosceles. Now that you've watched the video, take a quick moment to jot down additional notes, questions for class, or a quick summary of the lesson. You can also re-watch portions of the video that were a little tough for you the first time around. If you enjoyed the video, please click like, and if you'd like to help me grow my YouTube channel, please click subscribe.